Greetings, programs. This is Wretch. Welcome back to Shadowrun Hong Kong. We've talked to all the vendors once again. Now let's go into the bolt hole and actually see what we can do about... Whoa. You enter the trawler and find your crew gathered together waiting for you. ISO has her head buried into her PDA, and the rest of them stand watching her, trying to be patient. This is new. ISO, you look like you have something to tell the class. The dwarf paces up and back, trying to decide how to begin. I've been doing my homework on Josephine Sang and the Sang Mechanical Services. Well, you're pacing, so that tells me you found something. Oh yeah, I found something all right. ISO lifts her PDA to her face and consults her notes. In 2011, Sang Mechanical Services was a D-level corp floundering in the shallow end of the Hong Kong corporate pool. That's when Josephine Shui married into the family. Josephine thought big. She conceived of a massive project that would catapult TMS into the big time, something she called the Prosperity Project. Prosperity? That's what Raymond was mumbling about. Okay, what's the Prosperity Project? Once upon a time in the 1900s, the walled city was a densely populated slum. Something like 30,000 people crammed into 6.5 acres. Wait, I've heard this story before. It's a dreck hole, hell on earth, yada yada yada. That's today's walled city. The second walled city. The first walled city started life well over 100 years ago and lasted through both world wars and almost through to the Awakening. It was torn down in 1994 when the government had finally had enough. It had become such a haven for criminals that the cops would only enter it in large, well-armed groups. Sounds familiar. In 2021, Josephine Sang proposed a vision for the new type of low-income housing project, the Prosperity Project, a self-contained, low-cost walking neighborhood for the poor, but on a grand scale. The Prosperity Project would give Hong Kong's poor and the flood of refugees pouring into the country a place they could call their own, something that felt more permanent than the sprawling tent city that spontaneously sprang up after the first walled city was demolished. The Prosperity Project would replace the tent city and would be symbolically built on the site of the old walled city. The slogan was, "A place of dignity, where prosperity begins." The apartments weren't much bigger than the space you'd get in your average coffin motel, but they were built around plazas and marketplaces that contained goods and services catering to the poor. The government forgot the lessons of the last walled city. They loved the idea of containing the refugees and the poor to only a few densely populated blocks, kept them out of the public eye. Securing the contract catapulted Sang Mechanical Services' fortunes ahead. It eventually put Josephine Sang onto the executive council. Yeah, that doesn't line up, though. How did she get so powerful by building a slum? It's a very big slum. Apparently, that was also the beginning of a series of lucrative building contracts that propelled TMS into the big time. Where's Raymond come into all of this? Raymond Black doesn't come to it at all, but Edward Sang does. So who's Edward Sang? That's your foster father's real name. Oh crap. Raymond Black was actually Edward Sang, the only son of Josephine Sang and her late husband, Breakwater Sang. Edward was in charge of laying the groundwork for the walled city. Excavation and utilities, running in power lines, sewage, that kind of thing. Okay. Well, I always wondered where Raymond's money came from. Wait, this doesn't make any sense. Remember that massive gray water leak that flooded the basement back in '48? What about it? Ray didn't know the first thing about sewer lines. He hired a small army of plumbers, probably paid him double what the job was worth to fix the thing, and it still took almost 2 months to get the leak under control. Not much of a utility expert, huh? So if this man was not in charge of the utilities for the project, what was he doing down there? I don't know, but Edward Sang disappeared from the public eye shortly after Prosperity was completed, around 2031. That's about the time he moved to Seattle, around 7 years before he found us. But what happened in the walled city? And what would make Raymond want to go back in there now after all these years? I don't know, but I intend to find out. Interest. Oh, we gained 4 karma. Nice. And everyone else is going back into their respective domiciles. Well, that's cool. Let's go ahead and spend this karma while we can. Get our dodge up to 5. And that'll give us 4 left. Or 3 left, excuse me. And next up, I think we will go ahead and level up our body once again. So, that'll be fun. First off, let's go ahead and check the mission computer. Your workstation and mission computer. 5 unread messages. Holy crap. Well, first things first. Let's access the Shadowlands BBS and post some pay data. Well, let's claim payment first. Claim payment for the Wujing logistical data. Gave us 150. Hey, Shan. I was able to cut out the proprietary bits of the files we recovered that work a few new yen, but there was a lot of junk data none of the buyers wanted. I've decided to archive the leftover paperwork, requisition orders, etc. Nothing special, but I figure I'd keep it on hand. Well, thank you, ISO. Now, let's go ahead and post the schematics for the Binary Bard's custom cyber deck. Heck, ISO may buy that from us. Alright, so let's search the BBS for relevant keywords. Ooh. Alright. Typhoon stalled offshore. Update on Typhoon Usagi. Infrared images of the storm eye-to-wall transition are really quite stunning, by the way. Typhoon Usagi has stalled in the South China Sea and is now weakening after passing north of the Philippines. Strong wind and periodic, very heavy rains will continue as Usagi's arms sweep across the region. For the moment, Usagi is resting the wind, which is causing it to lose strength. Prevailing winds will probably ultimately drive it's Usagi, isn't it? It's not Usagi. Usagi ashore west of Macau as it struggles to remain over water. According to Dr. Lance Inroki of the Imperial Japanese Meteorological Agency, even the most awakened storms will have difficulty delaying their landfall for more than a week once they are in the South China Sea. Usagi will still be a full-strength typhoon when it makes landfall, but its delay fortunately gives people in the storm path more time to prepare. Look, babe, I just made this cartoonified typhoon for you. It's got a little purse and sparkles and bubble tea and 8 arms with assorted weapons and a necklace of skulls and everything. You're the best. The J-pop theme of the ammunitions belt really takes it over the top, Amonita. You're a special person. Sang Mechanical Services, a rising star. Has anyone else been keeping track of the Executive Council elections? It's almost time for the latest round and the competition's heating up. Up until this point, Tan Tieng CEO Sao Kok Chu looked like the best pick to replace Josephine Sang of Sang Mechanical Services. Despite Wujing CEO Kent Zhuling's rivalry with Chu, he had the support of both Yang Li Fat of Shibata and Adrian Chung of Hildebrandt Kleinford Bernal. Now, though I'm not sure, Josephine Sang seems pretty confident that she'll remain on the council. From what I've heard, she's cut a deal with Ares Asia, Monobi, and Eastern Tiger to stay out of their way. In exchange, they let her own Southeast Asia's large-scale construction projects. A cozy relationship like that could turn the tide against Tan Tien. Oh, so that's Josephine Sang. Your screen flickers as a trid clip begins playing. Josephine Sang stands at the podium, addressing a crowd of reporters in front of a partially constructed skyscraper. With the finalization permits approved for the Pak Thai Workers Complex here in Dongguan, I promise you the prosperity of this city can only increase. This marks an auspicious day. Thousands of new jobs in construction, tens of thousands more when the project is complete, and low-cost housing for every worker. Some have said Sang Mechanical Services does not have the will to compete in a global market, that we are only a force to be reckoned with in Hong Kong, Africa, and South America. I say that our good fortune is your good fortune. Sang pounds the podium with a closed fist, nodding for emphasis. Sang Mechanical Services is more than a local company. Our star is rising and shows no sign of slowing. I ask the residents of Dongguan, who among you does not wish for a better life, a wealthier, happier life, one where your company is also your family and can protect you from the uncertainty of these trying times. We will give you that life, and we will give you that protection and certainty. What a load of utter crap. It may be crap, but the people in Dongguan ate it up. The idea of signing with a local company that isn't Baihu, and believe me, they count Tan Tien and Wujing as foreign, was too much of a draw for them to pass on. I'm thinking that absent catastrophe, Josephine Tseng will be on the executive council in the next few days. Why do they count Wuxing as foreign? Tiantian, sure, they're headquartered in Beijing, but Wuxing's just as native to Hong Kong as Tseng is. Wuxing and the Canton Confederation have been at odds since 2015. Wuxing's made a habit of exploiting the people of Guangdong and using loopholes to shield themselves from taxation. What's more, Wuxing is the primary mover in founding the Free Enterprise Zone, permanently stopping the Confederation's designs on Hong Kong. Tseng took a different tactic. Josephine Tseng started out by promising the Canton Confederation a very lucrative taxation agreement in exchange for a low-cost, long-term lease for their facilities in Dongguan. She sweetened the deal by treating them like family, rather than adversaries. She got them eating out of her hand. Punk metal hardcore. Ooh. Got a collection of over 10,000 albums of punk, hardcore, hardcore light, thrash, thrash metal, heavy metal, light metal, death metal, metal nouveau, Sinopunk, Sith punk, cyber thrash, synthcore, Hong Kong ska, and triple umlaut bands like Umlaut. Rock collector. If there's an album you've been searching for, I might just have it. In return, I'm in search of any weird, obscure bands to add to my library. Let me know. Got any cybercore synth metal? As for what might interest you, I own a complete oeuvre of this German punk band, Messerkampf. Heard of them? Wait a minute, was that was Dietrich's band, wasn't it? Messerkampf? They're so mainstream. They're really big in the JIS. Really? Do they tour? Nah, man, I don't think so. Those Berlin anarchist bands never survived very long. Besides, I think they broke up a really long time ago. Probably aging wave slaves now, and no idea that they're wildly popular on the other side of the planet. I bet Dietrich would love to hear that. No more posts in this thread. Alright. Looking for Decker. Again? Looking for experienced Decker for a discreet milk run, picking up a very special access card off a wage slave. Potential for a longer term arrangement. We're a team that's been together for years, running your basic heist and the occasional transport gig. We've got a reliable fixer and a long list of happy clients. Good sense of humor. Tamper with chemicals in secret labs. You must not take experimental stims during runs. So, someone tampered with chemicals in secret labs. Knock knock. You said a good sense of humor. It's a joke, see? At this point, we're actually more interested in hiring an experienced professional with a mature adult's impulse control. We've had some bad luck with our Deckers lately. Last one had 2 left feet and couldn't seem to stop stumbling into containers full of volatile substances. Poor Run with Scissors 2056. Although by looking at her name, I guess we should have known. So basically, you guys are desperate for a Decker. Has anyone else contacted you? We can wait a little longer. Meet me. You guys are starting to get a bad rap, you know. Jinxed. We're sunk. All of us. Swim. As some of you know, I have a keen interest in urban planning, geophysics, and anything involving our eventual and inevitable destruction. Appended is a recent summary on rising sea levels in Hong Kong. It expresses the issue well in lay terms. Freedom Cowboy, you complained my post titles are a bit sterile. How's this one? Arctic Mirror, The Sinking of Hong Kong. Our article mirror. From HK Newswire, Hong Kong's Watery Future. The Joint Corporate Development Bureau has released a report on sea level rise in Hong Kong over the next 50 years. Since the year 2000, Hong Kong experienced 9 to 13 meters of water level rise, varying by location. Geologists cite a combination of Antarctic ice melting, the natural sinking of Hong Kong's artificial fill shorefronts, and forced subsidence caused by massive urban construction. Geologists predict a continued rise in water levels over the next 50 years, with slowing land subsidence being offset by the accelerating collapse of the Antarctic ice sheet. Quoting from the government geologist Ah Mingjia, with up to 15 meters of subsidence expected over the next half-century, a large fraction of current Hong Kong will become submarine. Due to our population and small land base, abandonment of flooded land is no longer practical. Rigorous amphibious retrofitting of the city will need to continue. By 2100, the current coastal buildings will mostly rise from a canal environment. So it's going to become like Venice, pretty much. Engineering studies indicate that major improvements will be necessary on the coastal seawaters and the Victoria Harbour's Jireng Wall, officially the anti-typhoon automated harbour defense jetty. Coastal protections will still need to be raised by half a meter per year to counteract the total effect of rising sea levels and the worsening severity of super typhoons. The Development Bureau estimates this may cost 250 billion new yen over the next 5 decades. Holy crap. Climactic models suggest that by 2100, storm surges impinging on Hong Kong shores may exceed 3 meters in height, and wind-driven waves during severe storms may reach 15 meters. Wow. So we're going to be running jobs from gondolas in 50 years? That's the message? When one does some simple financial modeling and the worsening severity and frequency of super typhoons along the geological outlook, the actual message is that it may be necessary to abandon Hong Kong. Extrapolates. That's what it was. I take it back. Keep your sterile titles. That's so endearing about you as you talk about the grimmest things like an accountant. Double entry accrual accounting is an amazing system. If more operators took an interest in it, they would have much better long-term financial security, as well as be better able to interpret and manipulate materials encountered during their work. She sounds just like Bones. It's pretty ironic that your handle shortens to WP, normally associated with white phosphorus. Thanks, Hatch. Actually, Hatch, it's not. It's really not. White phosphorus is exceptionally useful, not merely because of its... she's just going to go off on a tangent here. Hypergolic ignition and the fact that once burning it's chemically immune to water quenching, but also because of its high adhesion and biotoxicity. I don't take pleasure in these qualities, but I appreciate them. Merc Operative. Accessing BBS archives, please wait. See attached image dated to late 2050. The human in the middle is Simon Jour, mercenary fixer in Macau. He's a known quantity. I'm interested in the elf on his left. Anyone recognize this guy? Your person of interest is Rodil Han, aka Whipsaw. He's not a merc, he's a corpo turned runner turned corpo. Or corpo. He's now a counter-disruption advisor currently under contract for Transys Neuronet. Jour is just a broker, but I'm wondering what Whipsaw is doing with the third guy, the troll, Icebreaker. Oh. Icebreaker? He doesn't look like a Decker. Icebreaker as in as big as an icebreaker, the ship. He supposedly ran a paramilitary crew for a while. I've heard of this guy. He vanished 6 years ago. His whole team went completely dark. They were called the Fleet. Word is they hit a big score and retired. Yo guys, I got metadata that Icebreaker's crew got wiped out. Only 2 survivors, and you won't find them. Tin Helmet, I'm tired of your weird-ass rumors. Tin Helmet may be correct. One Fleet associate, Ustrada, posted on the BBS 6 times over the next year. Another, Balisong, was collected by a bounty hunter. See the attached image. Thanks, White Prism. That's awesome. We all really need a picture of a woman shot in the face and slumped over a toilet. This isn't a gore board. I swear you've got Asperger's or something. So, Icebreaker, that is probably Mr. Kafai in charge of Club 88. Rigger Doc. Accessing BBS archives, please wait. Anybody got work done by an expat named Deleted? He rigs dockware out in Deleted, but I hear he's better than most auto docs. Post Deleted. Read the rules, everyone. No calling out personal specifics or addresses of potentially active operators. Keep it to handles, generalities, and city sectors. At least 9 corporate bots are crawling the Haven as we speak. He's the real deal, yo. He's solid and he's in with us. I'm sick of saying it. Anyone who gets Chrome installed by some hack running dockware in a converted restroom deserves a horrible nerve degeneration they'll die from. Those guys saw you up, you'll pay for it. Slottable dockware can't replace a real surgeon, period. The tech isn't there yet. Now, I've scoped out the doc in question. I'm gonna have to rain on your party hat. He's basically a family doc who moonlights just doing basic cyber. Nice guy, but he's no hitter. Just a big bull dreck. You don't know Drek. Kowloon car bomb. Car bombing in Kowloon City today, near Salisbury and Nathan. Triad hit? Extremists? The Triads don't usually use car bombs, and terrorists want a substantial blast to kick fragments. This one had a small explosive, but burned like an oil well. Voila! HKPD report appended. 1 fatality, the driver. Guy named Ripshot. Ah... Burnt almost beyond identification. That is 10-armed Ambrose, I believe. Ripshot? He's a rigger. He rolls for the Fleet. Got a long enemies list. I think that was him. No, Crazy Taste. I don't know why people keep associating the Fleet and this Ripshot guy. The Fleet's rigger is a Shenzhen guy called Chainlink. Yeah, Ripshot has a lot of enemies, but he's a Cao Fu Croc shaman over here in Kuntong, and he's not dead. Several people have operated in Hong Kong under the handle Ripshot in the last year. None of them are linked to the fleet, but that crew is known to spread misinformation about their composition, so who knows. I see the body identification was made from limb DNA, a skull fragment, and the footage from a nearby CCTV camera. White Prism, Amanita, are you going to conspiracy theory on us again? Interesting. So we found out a little bit about the people here, a little bit more. Alright, let's check our messages. I'm kind of curious where those are going to go. 5 unread messages, Mother's Notes. From Crafty to Shan. Hey Shan, here are those notes you asked for, but before you dive in, a heads up. They're a complete transcription of that list from my mother's journal. As in, they're the thoughts and ramblings of an insane woman. It's not an easy read. Another dream. This time it was a near figure, a shadow, a wraith, faceless. I heard its voice, though it did not speak. And when I awoke, I was inside my home, though I'd been in the walled city just moments before. Where am I? A weight dropped into me. I felt the words of the wraith in my skin and the tips of my hair. I saw its mouth in my mind's eye. Rows and rows and rows of lies. Morning. My hand was to the paper before I even knew I was writing. It wrote the words, these words. They cannot lie. I added it to my list. Evening. Was it a king I saw? Was I really there? I was in the city, I'm sure of it, but how did I end up here? Was I carried back? My list is growing. Soon with this knowledge, I will stop the kings. A step forward is a step backward. A step backward is a step forward. Each wraith has a name, a true name, and a false name. Knowing their true name is knowing their weakness. To call them on their lies is to make yourself invincible. They will still try to eat you. They fear the feathers of unborn chicks. Kings must be one or the other, that is, of the negative world or positive. But positive doesn't necessarily make them good, nor negative make them bad. They simply are. Once a deal is brokered, it cannot be unmade. Kings and planets are closely connected. When nearest the sun, their power wanes. When farthest, it grows. There's only one wraith. There's only one wraith. There may be 2 wraiths, but there is most certainly only one wraith. They must follow the laws of the universe, rules set in motion long ago. They should concede defeat. All is lost to them. Kings are the rulers of us all. They take from us their lifeblood and with it parts of our souls. Do not give them what they seek, and you will be their match. They cannot lie. Morning. I made breakfast. It fell on the floor in the shape of my death. Another truth revealed to me. I added it to my list. It's all or nothing. They are all liars. Another dream. It was in white space. I could taste the color as if it were air. This time, no voice. Just rows and rows and rows, and rows and rows and rows and rows and rows and rows. A mess, I know. There's not a whole lot of significant material other than I already picked out, but even that is contradicted within Mom's notes. Everything should be taken with a grain of salt. Meantime, I'll keep looking into it. Good luck on your end, Crafty. Urgent problem. From Bao Jingjun to Shan. We have a problem to solve. It's urgent. Meet me at the Mahjong parlor. Kindly orders. Strangler Bao. Ooh. Out of town. I'm not in Heoi right now, so don't bother coming to see me. We'll talk when I return. Please continue with our business ventures in the meantime. Auntie C. Data retrieval. From Kindly to Shan. I hope you're enjoying your newfound success in the shadows. I've got another job for you, one that should prove very lucrative indeed. I've been contracted by an employee of the Eastern Tiger Corporation and needs you to steal some research data on biological samples from his employer. The man's name is Tagath Wright. Until recently, he was a researcher on a genetic engineering project. He was cagey with the details, but I gather that it's centered around phenotypic alteration and postnatal genetic enhancement. Unfortunately for Wright, he's got a conscience. Stupid man. Luckily for us, he's willing to pay to have his conscience assuaged. Wright's projects was apparently quite horrible. Experiments on living children, total disregard for biomedical ethics or safety, and when Wright raised concerns, he was taken off the project. He decided to step outside the bounds of the law and expose their wrongdoing to the world. The snag, you see, is that his wife and child live in Seoul. Not quite the heart of Eastern Tiger's power, but close enough. He's afraid that if he releases the information himself, they'll be taken prisoner and used as leverage. The It should have thought of that before, but that's not our problem. The samples and data are currently on an Eastern Tiger cargo ship, the MV Naochi, sailing near Hong Kong on their way to Seoul. The storm slowed the ship down, so you don't have to go right away, but don't take too long. Once you have the data and samples, you're to call Wright. I've attached his number. He'll give you instructions on how he wants the information leaked. When you're ready, let me know. I'll arrange transit with Captain Jomo. He's a local Loho Zhuan pirate and smuggler, but don't let that put you off. He's as good as they get, and he'll have you on that ship without incident. Oh, another run. It says that we have one unread message, but I am not seeing it. Read old messages. I think we've gone through all of those. Open the jobs directory. View all pending jobs. And we still have quite a few quests to go, which is awesome. Oh, goodness. So we meet Kindly Cheng's friend, get some rest. Strangler Bao wants to talk to us. We got so much on our plate, guys. We also got the rest of our crew to chat with. But I will do that in the next episode. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Found out some interesting stuff, I think, about 10-Armed Ambrose and Mr. Kafai. But if you liked the episode, go ahead and click like down below. Subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment. That'd be a big help. And we'll see you next time. Later days, everyone.